some reason my throat is dry today. I don't know why. But it's a beautiful day out today. It's supposed to get even warmer tomorrow. But definitely tomorrow should be a very good Mother's Day. So make sure you wish grandmas, cousins, mothers, sisters, etc. Right? All right. This week we are, like I said, double portion, Akre Mot and Kedoshim. Akre Mot is after the death, talking about the incident we read about Aaron's sons when they offered profane fire or unholy fire. And so now God is addressing that, speaking primarily to Aaron and the descendants after him. And what we're reading here in the first part of chapter 16 is the process for Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement. And what's interesting, a lot of people don't understand this. They don't see it because they think that it's just for the people, that we're atonement for all the people. But it's also making atonement for all the holy objects in the temple, or the tabernacle, and the tabernacle itself. Why? Why would they do that? Because it's like having a receptacle for garbage, in a sense, because sin is garbage, and it builds up, right? So once a year or once a week or however we do it, we take it out, right? And a lot of times we have to clean the garbage can out, right? Because it's dirty. It's got stuff still on it. It's garbage. It's icky. And it can be a place for bacteria and other things to grow, right? So we clean it. So once a year, God cleans his tabernacle or his temple. And that's the Day of Atonement. It's not just for the people, but it's also for the temple or the tabernacle. And so we read through here and we see all these different things that Aaron is not just Aaron, but the high priest is not just to be able to go into the holy place or the Holy of Holies anytime he wants. Okay? God is setting up an order of service. Remember, we talked about that. God has an order of service, how he wants to be worshipped, right? How he wants things to be done. And one of them is, even though he's the high priest, he can't go in there anytime he wants. He can only go in there once a year. And the tradition has been that as Yom Kippur comes up, the high priest is isolated for 7 days by himself, praying and studying Torah, washing and cleansing, so that when that day comes, that he can enter it without any contamination or anything like that. So he can do his job the way he's supposed to. And that includes that he would be fasting for those 7 days. He would fast, wouldn't eat anything. Well, I'm sure he would be drinking some because body can't go without water. But I don't know. I mean, it does say he fasted. Anyways, and then he would spend his time at the temple by himself. No one else there. People checking on him, of course, but other than that, that's what his job was. And then he could go in there. He would follow the directions here. You have a mikvah, put on the uniform of the high priest, as it says, and then go in there. He would, it says here's how Aaron is to enter the holy place, with a young bull as a sin offering and a ram as a burnt offering. He is to put on the holy linen tunic, have the linen shorts next to his body. They are the holy garments, and he is to bathe his body in water before he puts them on. So there's a mikvah, right? So we have a mikvah, which is a spiritual purification, right? So then he puts it on. He is to take from the community of the people of Israel 2 male goats for a sin offering and 1 ram for a burnt offering, okay? Aaron is to present the bull for the sin offering, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and his household. He is to take the 2 goats and place them before Adonai at the entrance to the tent of meeting, Then Aaron is to cast lots for the two goats, one lot for Adonai and the other for Azazel. Aaron is to present the goat whose lot fell to Adonai and offer it as a sin offering, but the goat whose lot fell to Azazel is to be presented alive to Adonai to be used for making atonement over it by sending it away into the desert for Azazel. Now, here's a unique thing. Talk about this. A lot of people don't realize the time that when Yeshua, Pontis Pilat. Pontius Pilate was a very evil man. He hated the Jews very much. But we see a pattern here. Okay? Yeshua is brought before Pontius Pilate, but another man was also brought before Pontius Pilate. And the people, the Jews, the leaders of the Sanhedrin, of the and a few Pharisees that were there, that Yeshua, their lifestyle, basically their power. Some of the crowd that they had gotten into rage and stuff were there too. And Pontius Pilate had, he tried it. He talked to him. He asked him questions. Are you the king of the Jews? Are you the Messiah? Are you, are any of these accusations accurate, right? And what did he do? He came to the conclusion that he sees nothing wrong. He doesn't see any, he hasn't committed any crime, right? And that's what, in essence, is like, now, you remember, God doesn't accept human sacrifice, but so this is all symbolic, okay? But in essence, he gives it to the people. He says, who do you want me to crucify? Yeshua ben Joseph from Nazareth, or Yeshua bar Abba, the zealot, right? And basically the people chose. So it was like casting a lot, because he's giving it to the people to come up with what this lot is going to land on, right? And so they demand that Yeshua bar Abba, the son of Abba, be let go. But to crucify Yeshua and Joseph, son of Joseph from Nazareth, right? And so what does he do? And this is one thing the priest would do too, is that he would wash before taking that goat to be offered up, right? He would wash his hands, wash his body and stuff for that aspect. And what did Pontius Pilate do? He washed his hands of the whole thing, right? So we see it symbolically, a picture of the same thing that's going on here, okay? And so then he was taken and he was going to go. Now the other one, the other man, Yeshua bar Abba, then was let out by the Romans to be let go. To be let go, right? And what does it say for the Azazel? So it says, Aharon is to present the goat whose lot fell to Adonai and offered as a sin offering. But the goat whose lot fell to Azazel is to be presented alive to Adonai to be used for making atonement over it by sending it away into the desert for Azazel. Sending it away. Bar Abba, Yeshua bar Abba, was sent away as, in essence, a scapegoat, okay? In place is what the people wanted. It's what the lot fell on, just like it has here, like we see this. So the whole picture of Yeshua's trial before Pontius Pilate is a picture of what the high priest was to do at Yom Kippur. And one is to be chosen for God, and the other is to be chosen to be let go, to let free, still take the sins upon themselves. Now the story of the scapegoat, or the goat for Azazel, is that we have 10 stations that it goes through. 10 different men that would lead the goat out to a high precipice, okay? The high priest would tie a scarlet rope around its horns, cut part of it off and put it on the temple door. Okay? In this sense, the man who takes it would go to the first place for the second person to take it. And then he would be done with his part of it, and the other man would then take his part. Well, each man who took this would then have to go wash himself, wash his clothes, and be unclean until evening, okay? Until they get to the 10th station. The man at the 10th station then, who was on the precipice, would then take the scarlet rope off the goat and hang it up there, and then he would force the goat off, back it up until it fell off the cliff, off the precipice. And then it would die at the bottom as it landed on the ground, and it would die. And then they would see if this is a miracle that did take place, is that if it was accepted by God, then that red or crimson or whatever you want to call it, rope would turn white. Not only would it turn white there, but at the temple, that same piece that was cut off of there would then turn white, so the people would know that it was accepted by God, right? And that's what happened with this goat and stuff. And of course, Yeshua bar Abba was a zealot and a very wanted man. And even though they didn't go, they still hunted him down later on, and he was killed. But remember, this is just symbolic. It's not, Yeshua is not a sacrifice for sin. He symbolically is a sacrifice. But remember, he doesn't meet any of the qualifications for a sacrifice that God has set. Remember, God has an order to serve it. Can't be without blemish, cannot have any broken bones, it cannot be tormented, it has to be of the cattle or the sheep or the goats. It has to be killed on the north side of the altar. And we see these things. This isn't what happened with Yeshua. But as a righteous man, especially one that we read about in the Talmud, that it says a righteous man can die for the sins of his generation, but a totally righteous man can die for the sins of all generations, right? And so this is what Yeshua was. He was a totally righteous man. So in essence, so his suffering on the cross, I mean, remember, they beat him, they pulverized him, they tore his body apart, and then they tortured him more by hanging him on the cross. In making a kosher sacrifice, you know, we have to make sure we do not cause that animal to suffer at all. That's why it's done with a very sharp blade in a specific manner. And any hesitation that you do, that animal is no longer kosher for a sacrifice. It has to be thrown out, usually given to the Gentiles, because it wasn't even properly killed kosherly because we caused it to suffer, caused it pain. So we can see this picture of Yeshua not literally being a sacrifice for sin, but symbolically being the goat at Yom Kippur being offered up for the people. Okay? And we see this picture here with Yeshua, Yeshua of Nazareth, and Yeshua bar Abba, and the Yom Kippur goats being chosen for God or for Azazel. I know a lot of people say, well, what is Azazel? Azazel, there is no, at this point, they don't have a interpretation for the word, but it meant something about the goat gods, the goat demons. And not that you were literally giving it to the goat demons, but it was just a way of saying that it was taken away. So, but what we understand it to mean, because God's not going to have us give a sacrifice to a demon. That's not the point. So in that way, when we see this here, Achremot, after the death. Aaron's sons died for a mistake, for not following God's order of service, right? And we just went through seeing the order of service just for Yom Kippur, what would go on. But then we can see the picture that is the same thing that happened with Yeshua, even though Pontius Pilat's not Jewish, he's not a priest, but he was the leader of that land, and he was the judge. He's the only one who could pronounce death. The Sanhedrin had no power to do that. And they wanted him dead. That was their plan. Why did the Sadducees want him dead? Because he threatened their power, their standing. They were kind of like a mob, like the organized crime. I mean, they killed each other even to get the high priest position when available. And the Sicarii, or the zealots, who became the Sicarii, were, they especially didn't like the Sadducees because they really were friends and allies and buddy-buddy with the Romans. But even they came together to go after Yeshua's apostles, eventually. But as we look at this, God is calling us to be holy, right? What does that mean? It means for us to be set apart, okay? And especially now, after Yeshua's death, I know we read a lot of different commands in here about different things, different aspects of stuff, sexual immorality, stuff like that. And it talks a lot about putting to death, putting to death, putting to death. Right now, there's no temple. And this would be concerned in the land of Israel itself anyways. And Yeshua has called us to teach the good news, the Besorah, and to all the people. This is to all creatures. And that Besorah, that good news, isn't just that Yeshua died and rose from the dead, but it's repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. It's short. The time is short, especially now. We're seeing all these things starting to come together in the world. The prophecies we're seeing of the end times, end days, whatever you want to call it, we're seeing it happen. And we've got to stand for righteousness, right? We know what is an abomination to God. That doesn't, just because we're not putting people to death for these things right now, it doesn't mean that we condone these things. It's still evil, those things that are in there. They're still evil. They're still not to be accepted. But as we can see, the world is going that direction, right? We see it going that direction. We need to protect our kids from the evil propaganda and the wokeness and the lies that are out there. And really make sure our kids are vulnerable. And if there's parents out there who are not taking this serious, your kids are in public school, even in private schools, are brainwashed in many ways. TV, games, and stuff like that, you really got to be careful of, because they're doing that, entering more and more, making it like homosexuality and all these things are normal, but they're not.
On kids' YouTube, you can find videos that have like drag queens and stuff.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, you can. It's supposed to be kid friendly, but they have
Yeah. So, and we've got school boards coming out trying to say parents have no right to know what children are learning. They have no right to. Parents are vilified when they go to school board meetings and stand up against those type of things. And we need to stand together. We need to stand together for righteousness, especially for our children's sake, for our grandchildren's sake. There's a lot of evil afoot in this world, in this country. And that's why we need to pray for our president and those who are standing with him. I'm not saying he's perfect. I don't agree with everything he does. But the thing is, he's standing up for things that are right, that need to be stood up for, putting down this evil and stuff that the other side has been pushing on us, been forcing on us. The only thing that that other side wants, the Democrats, is power over your life, over what you do. It's the new Jim Crow. They call it something else now. They call it wokeness, or they call it DEI. But it's not. It's poison. It's poison. It's the same old thing that the kings of old, the pagan kings of old, wanted to do, is to be worshipped and to have all power over your life, everything. And they're doing the same things, the same old, same old. And we need to understand, does God tell us, do the things that these nations did in this land? That includes for us that when there's an ungodly law, no, we don't follow it. Even if it's the law of the land, we do not follow ungodly laws, right? And then talking about Molech, offering children to Molech. The child was usually within a few days old when they would offer the child to Molech. It's no different than what's going on with the abortion mills. They're evil.
Now I just saw that our governor passed a bill that they're allowed now if during it's an abortion and the baby is born alive, they're going to be allowed to kill it.
Yep. Infanticide. Yep. And so that's why we need to stand against these leaders that are promoting evil, promoting abortion, promoting even the death of the elderly or the infirm, which you don't think is here. It's here. Withholding crucial medicines and stuff like that. It's here. It's already going on. And when our government does the same thing, it's no different than what the Nazis did in World War II. You know, it's not, abortion is not a woman's health issue. There's two people there. I understand. I understand abortion if the mother's life is in jeopardy. That's different. And I'm sorry for the woman who was raped and got pregnant. That child didn't do anything to deserve death. But we have organizations out there now that are being attacked by the pro-abortion and stuff like that, that are out there willing to help women, help them financially, help them with all kinds of things for the first couple of years, for sure, help them get their foot standing on something solid, you know, and to minister to them. They help them with medication and food and stuff like that for the baby, especially. And you need to support those things.
You can also give the baby to an adopted.
Yeah. You can put a baby in adoption. There's lots of people out there who are willing to adopt people who aren't able to have children, and it's selfishness. It's selfishness in abortion, anyways. That's all. It's what it's about. Is a selfishness. I can't be pregnant now. It's not the right time for me, or whatever. But you're the one who played the game and got pregnant, and you need to live with the consequences. Now you can give it up for adoption. Give the baby up for adoption. Lots of people out there who are looking for children to adopt. There's not enough. That's why people have to go out of the country to find children from other countries to adopt, etc. But we need to support our children. We need to support our elderly. We need to support our leaders that are doing the right thing and pray for them. Come against these satanic cults and stuff who were just in the news the other day calling curses down on the good, righteous people in our government, our leaders and stuff, and we need to stand against that stuff. But we are called to be holy. We are called to be holy, set apart for God. God has given us instructions on how we are to do that. He's given us a way how to eat, a way how to dress, a way how to live our lives set apart to Him. And it's important that we learn these things. That's what's in the Torah here as well. It's not just history. I know I hear a lot of people, well, it's just history. Or we don't even know if it's true. Well, I'm sure it is true as far as I'm concerned. I believe that everything in here is true. And it's not just history. It's even for us today. The Torah is with us today, will be with us until the end of the Messianic period, the 1,000-year reign, before we enter into the world to come, when the new covenant that is talked about in Jeremiah and stuff, comes into its fullness. Right now we have a taste of it. But as you go, this week, think about these things. We've got Shavuot coming up the first couple days in June. And that's 50 days. It's 50 is a good number too. It's the year of freedom, year of Jubilee, right? 50 has to do with freedom and peace and stuff like that, and everything being in its final form. So we have that coming up. So think about these things. Pray for our leaders, especially those who are going to public school, those who are homeschooled, that they get the right stuff. They're doing good. I've seen too many homeschool people that just they let their kids do whatever they want and they pay the price. But there's good homeschool families that do the right job. So let's keep that going. So next week we have a single portion. That's Emor. But the week after that we have another double portion, just so you know. But anyways, I want you to go out, enjoy this. That's a day that God has given us. Sunshine and warmth. Especially for Mother's Day tomorrow. Honor your mothers. As it says, curses his father or mother should be put to death. Let's not curse them, right? I'm not saying that parents are perfect, right? We make mistakes and stuff, and there are some bad parents.
There's some parents that don't deserve to.
But we still need to pray for those who persecute us and hurt us and stuff like that too, but let's not curse them. They need salvation too. So, all right. So go ahead and bow your heads for the priestly blessing. Our God and God of our fathers, bless us with the threefold blessing in the Torah written by the hand of Moses, your servant, and pronounced by Aharon and his sons, the priests, your holy people, as it is said. May the Lord bless you and protect you. Maybe you will. May the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. Maybe you will. May the Lord turn his face toward you and grant you peace. Maybe you will. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chulnecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha. Shalom. Shavua Tov. Have a good week. Have a good rest of Shabbat. Have a great Mother's Day tomorrow. Tuesday night, 7, we have our Torah Club. And Wednesday night, we have our study. It will end at the end of the month. Our last study will be on Wednesday night. Study will be on the 28th and start it back up again in the fall. Anyways, anybody has any questions, always ask questions here or ask questions, send questions on Messenger or whatever. But just pray everybody has a good week and everything goes good. So, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos.